Paul Pierce saying he hasn't played like a superstar yet, Jayson Tatum. So you don't have to take my word for it. I've only been saying this for a week, getting savaged by Celtics fans saying, oh, you're a casual. You don't really know what's going on. Or hitting me with what his, screen assists are or what his screen proficiency is. That's the head coach doing that as well. Or, talking about all the assists he has, like the 6 he had in Game 1, which were all on three-point shots, which are only assists if the other guys make the shots. But we're going to give him credit for those baskets. So then do you want to also give him the blame for last night when they're 8 for 35? While we're giving him all the credit for everybody else's production. So don't take my word for it. Take Paul Pierce's word for it. He's a superstar who's elevated in the playoffs, won a championship for the Celtics. He's telling you your current superstar is not playing like a superstar. If you have an issue with those facts, you can take it up with Paul Pierce.
And they will. They hate Kendrick Perkins. They're now going to hate Paul Pierce.
Well, I will say this, Paul. I mean, Paul Pierce makes the coverage at NBC Sports Boston look like 60 Minutes. I mean, he is so in the bag for the team. So again, if that guy is telling you that, hey, Jayson Tatum at this point hasn't played like a superstar, then it's true. And the part that I don't get, look, I'm not here to kill the guy. It's not like he's useless on the court. You look at the numbers, he still is helping to some degree. There's still some production. But if you're somebody who, it's your time, you're a purported top 5 player in the NBA, people chant MVP for you. You think you should be an MVP winner. And in February at the All-Star game, when asked a question about LeBron James moving on potentially and who could be the face of the league, you're sitting up there saying that you feel like you have a say in that conversation. Well, now you have to step forward and either elevate your game, and when you don't, you have to own it. Because tell me, is there another guy who's top 5 in the league who wouldn't be getting criticized for not playing up to his full capability or not elevating his game in the playoffs? Luka, before last night, was getting killed, rightfully so, for how poorly he'd shot in the playoffs. From Dallas, I wasn't hearing, well, what are his screen assists? He has this gravity that just draws other guys to him, so that creates for the other guys. So we should really credit half of their points to him. I wasn't hearing any of that for Luka, and Luka was getting killed nationally long before Tatum was. It's okay to be critical of your superstar. It doesn't mean you don't like him. It doesn't mean he's any less of a superstar. It just means you need him to play a little better to get to where you ultimately want to go.
And you think here he gets a break?
Oh, I think he gets a total break. I'm struggling. Mazz, you'd have to help me. Felger, Murray, you're a bitter old soul. When has there ever been another guy of this guy's caliber who gets such a free pass from Boston sports fans? It's not Ted Williams or Yaz or Brady or Bird or Pedro or Ortiz. People were harder on Mookie Betts, who actually, wait for it, won an MVP and a championship here, than they are on Tatum. I don't get it. I mean, you say anything negative about this guy, and people are jumping. I want to walk that back. It's not even negative. Anything accurate and honest about the current state of his play, and it's not all roses and zero jerseys, and they're all over you. I've never seen anything like it.
We have another Pierce cut from that stint with Undisputed and Skip Bayless. Go ahead, Jimmy.
He doesn't feel the pressure to have to be the guy every night, but as a superstar, you should have an understanding of the game of when you got to step up. I do agree with that. And last night, when things got rough, that's when superstars come through. So hopefully this is a wake-up call. So now, you have to take this as like your back is against the wall. You're going on the road. You lost home court advantage. These are the type of games you want to see from your superstars to step up, and so we'll see now.
What do you think?
I mean, I think that's honesty from Pierce, basically saying, like, hey, in a night like last night, where offensively it's not getting done, you would expect your superstar to elevate and sort of carry the team. I was at Game 1. Game 1 obviously was not the greatest game that Jayson Tatum has ever played. He started 4 for 15. He finished 7 for 19. I thought the other guys on that team sort of carried Jayson Tatum on an off night. Last night was his turn. It was an off night for the other guys on that team, most of them. Jaylen Brown, I know he and Tatum finished with the same shooting numbers, but he was 6 of 12 after 3 quarters, so it wasn't a horrible night for him. But it was his turn to carry those guys to the finish line, and he didn't do it. And he really hasn't done in the playoff. Even the triple-double, his first career playoff triple-double. In that game, he shot 7 for 18 in that game against Miami. That's the Caleb Martin game. Again, I'm not telling you he had a horrible game in that game, but still, 7 for 18, he's better than that. He knows he's better than that. He's better than 26% shooting from 3, which is what he's been this postseason. He's better than about 40% from the field, which is what he's been this postseason. And it sort of goes back to what you guys talk about, too. There have to be stakes if we're going to rightfully so lionize the 40 or 50-point game that I know is coming from him, and we should do that. Then in order for that game to matter and those points to matter, you can't sit here and tell me all playoffs that how he shoots and how he scores is irrelevant. Because then I'm going to tell you when he scores 50, well, who cares?
Are you concerned about him going forward?
A little bit, because the game I was at, game 1, and last night I thought at the podium that, we had the Brady body language thing back in the day. I thought his body language was that of someone who's sort of forlorn, someone who is feeling the pressure and maybe a little bit deflated. I know he said they weren't deflated, but game 1 was a pretty quick post-game press conference. Last night was longer, but there was sort of some drawn-out answers. I didn't love the answer about the super team. It sounded a little bit like an excuse. I mean, you guys are the best team in the league. You've been talking about how you can win multiple ways and how deep you are. Now all of a sudden you're sort of intimating, intentionally or unintentionally, that people shouldn't consider you to be the clear favorite in the East, the clear favorite in the NBA, that you, the superstar that has the best supporting cast in the NBA and the luxury of playing like this and winning playoff games to this point, being 5-2 in the playoffs, you don't have enough around you? Please.
Chris is right. He's dead on. I mean, again, you don't want the burden? You're loaded. The freaking team is loaded. And I don't know if I'd call them a super team because they don't have, Garnett, I don't know how many Hall of Famers there are there in the middle, although they have a couple in all probability.
Phoenix would trade super teams tomorrow. I'll just tell you that.
But
so would the Clippers.
Yeah, exactly.
And in the modern NBA, they probably do qualify as a super team, all things considered, even if it wasn't necessarily.
They had 3 guys who average 20 points per game.
And look at, when Pierce is talking about what a star player does for his team at those moments, just look at what Jalen Brunson is doing. He's carrying that offense. What do you have, 4 40-point games in a row until the other night, and he only got 29? So, he doesn't have half the help that Tatum does, and he's getting 40 a night. So, sorry, the burden comes with the title. You want to be the face of the league? The burden comes with it. Grow a sack and freaking carry the load.
Calls with Gasper right after Big Jim Murray gets you updated.
Can I just do one thing quickly?
Yes, you may, please.
Because I want to check something.
Yeah.
I'm
just making sure.
It's really me.
I'm just making sure Gasper's not a hologram.
You should have known it was really me when I was late.
For our radio audience, Mazz touched Gasper's shoulder.
I poked him. I just wanted to make sure it was real.
Don't get any P. Diddy ideas over there.
It's not AI Gasper then.
I was going to say that he's not some bot that joins us by Zoom every week.
I thought he was AI, is what I thought. If you like that clip, check out more videos from Felger and Mazz here. For more Celtics analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. And for all the latest from the Sports Hub, download the app at 985thesportshub.com.